What is going on, y'all? It is the Caveman back at it again with another video. Today I have a very interesting video topic. Last offseason I made a video simulating if Antonio Brown ended up getting traded to the Buffalo Bills. Everybody remembers when that went down, right? Obviously Antonio Brown was never seen in Bills colors aside from that rumor, but this offseason I'm doing something similar, and I'm going to simulate if the Buffalo Bills never traded for Stefon Diggs and we ended up drafting Justin Jefferson instead. The Diggs and Jefferson trade is widely regarded as one of the most beneficial trades for both parties in NFL history. It was so balanced, it helped both sides in their own respective right. But I want to know what history would have looked like if Justin Jefferson got drafted by the Buffalo Bills and this trade never went down. And I'm going to use Madden Franchise Mode to help me figure that out. A couple of things I want to preface before getting into it. I am using Madden 21 because they have Justin Jefferson at his base overall before he even played a snap in the NFL after getting drafted. And the other thing is I'm only going to be simulating the first 5 years of Justin Jefferson's career, so 2020, 2021, 2022, 2023, and 2024. Alright, so here we are, the first year of Justin Jefferson's career with the Buffalo Bills. This is going to be preseason of 2020. As you can see, I named my owner Justin Jefferson's alternate life because this is Justin Jefferson's alternate life. Here's the offense. We got Cole Beasley, we got John Brown, and across from them on the other side of the field, instead of Stefon Diggs, is rookie Justin Jefferson, who currently sits at a 74 overall. So I'm going to sim to right before the playoffs of the 2020 season and see how things unfold. Alright, so here we are. It looks like the Buffalo Bills finished third in the AFC East at 9-7, tied with the Dolphins. Looks like we lost a tiebreaker and did not squeak into the postseason. As we know, in real life, the Bills did make the playoffs, made the AFC Championship game in 2020. Maybe that's the effect Stefon Diggs had, being that veteran in the locker room for Josh Allen. It's been talked about many times before. But it looks like Justin Jefferson had a good season as his overall went from a 74 to an 80 overall in just 1 year. That's pretty damn good. Josh Allen's worked his way up to an 81 as well. Going over to the stats, it looks like Josh Allen finished third in the NFL in passing yards of 4,500 and 37 passing touchdowns, which is sixth in the NFL. Holy shit. But Justin Jefferson had one hell of a rookie season. I will say 89 receptions, 1,000 yards receiving, and 10 touchdowns. 10 touchdowns in Cole Beasley. Holy shit. 1,200 yards, 12 touchdowns, and 91 receptions for Beasley. Obviously, in comparison to Justin Jefferson's in real life rookie season with the Minnesota Vikings, where he racked up like 1,400 yards, 7 touchdowns, and like 90 receptions. This is not nearly as good, but this is still one hell of a rookie season for a guy that's with a pretty young quarterback as well. But I'm glad to see this. The Bills might not have had as much success in the simulation in 2020 as they did in real life. Justin Jefferson being a 1,000-yard receiver is still making good pace. Alright, so now I've simulated the preseason of 2021. Let's check out what the offense is looking like at this point in time. Justin Jefferson and Josh Allen had their morale boost removed, which is a feature in Madden, which increases your overall by 1 point. So now Justin Jefferson's a 79, Josh is an 80. But as you can see, a big change to the offensive side of the ball is Emmanuel Sanders. In real life, we had him across the field from Stefon Diggs. Now we have him across the field from Justin Jefferson. I think Emmanuel Sanders is being brought onto this team, whether that's Diggs or Jefferson in that spot. Hell, I think there's even more reason to bring Sanders in if Justin Jefferson's there. We might have brought in more veteran leadership at that. But I do expect to see Emmanuel Sanders' presence cut into Justin Jefferson's production. Let's see what happens. So I've simulated to the end of Justin Jefferson's sophomore year. Let's see how the Bills did. Does not look like they made the playoffs once again. Wow, back-to-back seasons in real life, the Bills made the playoffs, and they could not squeak in either season here. We finished 8-8, couldn't even get to 9-7, third in the division once again. The Jets at 11-5. Give me a break. Let's go over and see how Justin Jefferson improved this season, what his overall has gotten boosted to. Looks like Justin Jefferson has worked his way up to an 82 overall from a 79. Josh Allen's worked his way up to an 83 overall. It's nice to see, so it looks like they're still making good progress. Bouncing over to Justin Jefferson's sophomore year statistics, he does not finish with 1,000 yards this time around. 967 yards, only 3 touchdowns. Wow, he just was not nearly as productive, but 95 receptions. Looks like he got a lot more targets. Obviously, I really shouldn't have to say it, but these statistics do not really match up with Justin Jefferson's in real life statistics in his sophomore season. JJ in real life had like 1,600 yards, 10 touchdowns, over 100 receptions. I mean, this obviously does not compare, but the situations are different, and this is why I'm doing it. I want to see how it unfolds. Alright, now I've simulated to the third season of Justin Jefferson's career with the Bills. This is pretty much where we're at in real life. Preseason of 2022. Checking out what the offense looks like now. It's pretty much the same offense as we have in real life, except Justin Jefferson's in Stefon Diggs' spot. I brought in Jamison Crowder, Isaiah McKenzie's on the roster, Gabe Davis is back there. This is pretty much what I think our wide receiving core would look like if Justin Jefferson was here. But as you can see, JJ's an 82, Josh is an 83. Let's see how much they both improve at the end of Justin Jefferson's junior year. Alright, so here here we are. Let's see if the Bills made the playoffs, and it does not look like that's the case. Once again, 3 straight years since Justin Jefferson's been drafted, still no playoff appearance. The Bills once again finish 8-8, this time second in the division, still can't buy a wild card spot. Let's at least go see how Justin Jefferson has improved throughout the 3rd season of his Bills career. Looks like Justin Jefferson has managed to work his way up to an 85 overall. Okay. Him and Josh are now even. Josh is at an 85. Devin Singletary's an 87. Damn. But going from an 82 to an 85 is still positive improvement. Let's check out the statistics that Justin Jefferson had this year. All right, so Justin Jefferson has one hell of a season. 1,100 yards, 8 total touchdowns, 82 receptions. I would say this is probably his first or second best season. His first year was pretty damn good, though. But it's nice to see the total touchdowns number increase. I think he only had like 2 or 3 in his second season. But JJ did lead the team in receptions, did lead the team in receiving yards, damn near led the team in receiving touchdowns. And this is exactly what I expect from a first-round draft pick in Justin Jefferson. The way his career has panned out in real life, I'm kind of not surprised by this. All right, so now we're really getting into the future. We went from the past to the present. Now we're getting into next year. This is preseason of the 2023-2024 season. Let's check out where things are at with the offense. Stefon Diggs, 87. That still kind of blows my mind. Jamison Crowder is still on the team. We got Gabe Davis at 75. Justin Jefferson's worked his way up to an 86, and now he's got a star development trait, which is tremendous for him. It looks like coming into his 4th season, he's really started to grow into his role here. All right, so simulating to the end of the 2023-2024 regular season, the Bills finally have made the playoffs. It looks like at 11-5, we win the AFC East, playing the Cincinnati Bengals in the wild card round. Go check out how Justin Jefferson has progressed at the end of his 4th year with the Bills, and it looks like Justin Jefferson is now a 90 overall. He's getting that +1 morale boost, but man, he is making his way up. So I've simulated to the Super Bowl of the 2023-2024 postseason. I wanted to see how things panned out, and it does not look like the Bills made it to the Super Bowl, unfortunately. Checking out the end of season statistics for Justin Jefferson in his 4th season: 82 receptions, 1,100 yards once again, 10 touchdowns, double-digit touchdowns. I love to see that. So I've simulated this postseason. This is the first time the Bills have made the playoffs with Justin Jefferson on the roster, and the Bills seem to have lost to the Bengals in the wild card. What a letdown. They were 8-8, we were 11-5, and we lost 42-31. Wow, what a letdown. And we have a Baltimore versus Washington Commanders Super Bowl. What an interesting time to be alive. So I simulated the preseason of next year, and this is going to be the final season that I simulate the 2024-2025 NFL season. Here's what the offense is looking like. Devin Singletary's an 89, Justin Jefferson's still a 90, Josh Allen's an 87, Jamison Crowder's still on this team. But let's get to the end of this year and see how JJ does. So here we are at the end of the 24-25 season. The Bills are 7-9. Somehow, someway, the Bills have managed to make the playoffs at 7-9. That is absolutely ridiculous. Coming off an 11-5 season, we go 7-9 to follow up and somehow make the playoffs at the top of the division. Checking out the overalls, Justin Jefferson has improved once again in his 5th year, a 92 overall wide receiver. Devin Singletary's a 90 overall. Josh Allen's just an 88, which is, something I'm going to note a little bit later on in the video. Checking out JJ's stat line for the 24-25 season, he's got 81 receptions, 1,100 yards once again, and 11 total touchdowns. It seems like we've kind of found Justin Jefferson's ceiling when it comes to being with the Bills. That ceiling would be just around 10 touchdowns, just around 1,100 yards, and just around 80 to 90 receptions, which is not bad at all. That is like top tier wide receiver statistics, but it just goes to show how good he actually is in real life. That dude is putting up 1,400, 1,600 yards in just his first 2 years. But yeah, I'm going to simulate to the end of this postseason to see how the 7-9 Buffalo Bills fare in the playoffs. Here we are. It looks like we didn't make the Super Bowl. Let's check out where we lost in the bracket, and it appears we made it farther than we did as the 11-5 top seed of the AFC East. We lose to the Jaguars 36-34 in the divisional round. We beat the Titans by 10 in the wild card, but I guess not too shabby for a 7-9 wild card team getting to the divisional round. Let's check out where Justin Jefferson rounds out at an overall standpoint. JJ manages to work his way up to a 93 overall at the end of the 2024-2025 NFL season, and this is where I'm ending the simulation. So let's do a quick overview of Justin Jefferson's 5 seasons with the Bills. He does manage to rack up nearly a 1,000-yard season each and every year he's with the Bills. Ladies and gentlemen, you're looking at a #1 wide receiver in the NFL. He certainly wouldn't be at the status that he is in real life, but this is certainly a top of the depth chart receiver for any football team in the league. And just for the fun of it, let's compare how Stefon Diggs did with the Vikings instead. Justin Jefferson managed to top nearly 1,000 yards each year with almost 10 touchdowns every season. Stefon Diggs right here looks like he struggled in comparison to Justin Jefferson, in comparison to his real-life counterpart. Wow, I mean, I'm kind of flabbergasted. I mean, we all know Stefon Diggs was just disgruntled with the Vikings Vikings at the end of 2019, which led to his trade in 2020. So maybe that had an effect on his statistics. Obviously, it's just a video game, but it really is interesting to see how it kind of mirrors off with real life. I mean, Stefon Diggs and Justin Jefferson in the simulation completely have different careers. So that's a really interesting comparison because Stefon Diggs is like a 98 overall in the game at this point, and Justin Jefferson's just a mere 93. Granted, the situations are different. So that pretty much wraps up JJ's 5-year sim with the Bills, but one point I wanted to touch on, which I think is really interesting, is the Bills' lack of team success. Justin Jefferson progressed throughout his career very well, but the Bills themselves only made the playoffs twice in that 5-year stretch, being in 2023 and 2024, where we had pretty much no success getting deep in the postseason at all. In comparison to real life, where in 2020 and 2021, we made 2 pretty deep playoff runs. We were deemed one of the best teams in the NFL. I mean, this simulated Bills team could not stay alive in the AFC East, let alone the AFC as a whole. And I'm kind of thinking that that has to do with Stefon Diggs not being on this roster. Obviously, Justin Jefferson progressed very well for the Bills, but what Justin Jefferson did not bring was experience and veteran leadership. And that's something us as Bills fans talk about all the time. What Stefon Diggs brought to this team in 2020 is something you really could not draft. And a lot of people, including myself, give credit to Stefon Diggs for making this transformation with this young Bills team happen. As you saw in the simulation, Josh Allen did not take off the same way that he did in real life. 2020 was really that pop-off season, and he had Stefon Diggs right alongside him. Stefon Diggs not being alongside Josh Allen in the simulation, I think it certainly hampered Josh Allen's development. He only capped off at an 89 overall at the end of the 5-year sim, and going into this year, into Madden 22, the game that's a year old at this point, he was an 89 overall to begin with. So even though it's a video game and it might not have done it on purpose, seeing the Bills struggle year after year to fight in their own division, to make the playoffs, to make any kind of postseason run, could be reflecting what the Bills could have looked like if that Stefon Diggs, Justin Jefferson trade never went down, and Josh Allen does not take off the same way he does in real life. I think it's safe to say that Stefon Diggs had a big part in the development of this football team. Not that I needed this Madden simulation to prove anything, and it doesn't really prove anything in the first place. It definitely is not a one-sided win for the Vikings in that transaction. The Bills made out so damn well, and it's something that cannot be measured. But yeah, let me know what you thought of the simulation in the comment section down below. This was something I really enjoyed doing. If it's something you want to see in the future, if you want to see more Madden content, definitely let me know. But as always, if you enjoyed, please like, subscribe, do all the fun stuff. If you want to hit the bell to be notified when I upload, I'd appreciate that. You want to go over to Twitter, follow me over there, I'd appreciate that as well. I have a TikTok down in my description that I think you should check out, and I hope to see you in the next one. Peace.